pilot at that time. And
Hello, and welcome to another episode. We are going to be watching 50 things only those who grew up in the 1990s remember. So, for everyone who grew up in the 90s, this is for us. Here we go.
A decade full of unforgettable moments, trends, and experiences that shaped the childhoods of millions. From Tamagotchis and Pogs to iconic music and movies, the 90s had it all. Join me as we take a trip down memory lane, revisiting 50 things only those who grew up in the 90s will remember. Let's dive in. 1. Tamagotchis constantly demanding your attention.
Tamagotchi Connection! It's new! With looks and styles, new characters, gifts, games, and
Oh, yeah, you raise them on your little...
Sold separately from Bandai.
Tamagotchis were the original virtual pets, and they took the 1990s by storm. These small egg-shaped devices required constant care. From feeding them to cleaning up after them, Tamagotchis became the center of attention for every 90s kid. The worst part? If you ignored them for too long, they would die, and you'd have to start all over. School halls were filled with the beeps and chirps of these tiny digital creatures, as everyone made sure to check on their pets between classes.
Damn commercials. Sorry about that.
While they were a craze that fizzled out by the late 90s.
Do you guys remember these? I thought they were Geopets, but they're not. That's something else. I remember playing them in the 90s.
The memories of feeding, playing, and sometimes sadly losing our virtual pets remain unforgettable. 2. Renting movies or games at Blockbuster every weekend. Every weekend, heading to Blockbuster was a ritual, with its aisles stacked with VHS tapes and later DVDs and video games. Choosing a movie or game for the weekend felt like an event. The neon-lit store and the sense of excitement walking through the aisles created the ultimate weekend vibe. Trying to decide between a Blockbuster hit or a random gem, only to find that the new release was already out, was a bittersweet experience. Blockbuster was the go-to place for movie nights, and the joy of picking out that perfect movie or game remains one of the most nostalgic memories for anyone who grew up in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
3. The AOL dial-up tone signaling the internet's arrival. Before broadband, there was the unmistakable sound of the AOL dial-up connection.
So annoying.
That screeching, beeping noise signified the start of an internet session and left every 90s kid anxiously waiting for the connection to work. It was the moment when the world seemed to open up. Once that tone stopped, the "You've Got Mail" notification was music to our ears. Hours spent chatting on AOL Instant Messenger, downloading music, and exploring the early internet were made possible by this iconic sound. And of course, no one could use the phone while you were online, leading to constant battles over the household line. 4. Playing Pokemon Red or Blue on your Game Boy. Pokemon Red and Blue were...
That's what I was talking about. The Pokemon blew up in the 90s. I remember that. Elementary school, I believe I was in 4th grade, I believe it was, when they
the
came
definitive
out.
Games of the 90s, creating a cultural phenomenon that shaped a generation.
Yeah.
These Game Boy classics introduced us to the world of Pokemon with a mission to catch them all and become the ultimate Pokemon master. The pixelated graphics and 8-bit music were instantly recognizable, and every kid had their favorite starter Pokemon, whether it was Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle. Trading with friends to complete the Pokedex and the excitement of leveling up your Pokemon to evolve them was an experience shared by millions. These games made Game Boy the...
What was your guys' first game system? I remember the Nintendo or the Atari with it was my mom and dad's generation, but we had one too where you could shoot the asteroids and stuff. Them were awesome.
Device to have and turned Pokemon into an empire. 5. Saturday morning cartoons as a weekend ritual.
Yeah, Captain Planet was my jam.
From the cosmic reaches of the universe. Here in this great hall of justice.
Saturday mornings in the 90s were reserved for one thing, cartoons. Whether it was waking up early to catch the latest episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sailor Moon, or X-Men, Saturday morning cartoons were a weekly ritual. The excitement of plopping down in front of the TV, surrounded by your favorite cereals, and watching shows that shaped our childhood was something every 90s kid looked forward to. Those early hours were full of energy, imagination, and the thrill of experiencing our favorite animated characters and worlds. And of course, the commercials for toys and sugary cereals were an unforgettable part of the experience. 6. Dancing to the Macarena at every school event. The Macarena was more than catchy lyrics, and most importantly, the dance moves became the centerpiece of every school event, party, and even family gatherings. At every school assembly, birthday party, or dance, kids would gather to perform the dance with precision. No one wanted to be left out of the fun. Even adults couldn't resist joining in. It became the ultimate icebreaker and was a symbol of the collective 90s experience. Whether you loved it or hated it, there's no denying that the Macarena took over the 90s dance floors. 7. Neon windbreakers and chokers as the epitome of style. Neon windbreakers and chokers were the defining accessories of 90s fashion. Windbreakers in bright, bold colors, often in neon pink, green, or orange, were everywhere, especially during those early morning gym classes or casual weekends. Paired with a pair of baggy jeans or a graphic tee, these jackets screamed 90s style. Meanwhile, chokers, often made of plastic, velvet, or even tattoo-like elastic, were a must-have for both young girls and boys. These accessories weren't just for fashion, they were for identity. Wearing these bold pieces was a statement, and anyone who grew up in the 90s remembers how iconic they felt at the time. 8. Collecting Beanie Babies and believing they'd make you rich. Beanie Babies were more than just stuffed animals. They were a sensation. With their cute designs and the famous tags marking their birthdays, Beanie Babies became
We used to have thousands of these between myself and our friends and my sisters and everybody. Little did we know how much they'd be worth nowadays, or even longer if we held on to them. But yeah, everybody collected Beanie Babies.
a craze in the 90s. Kids and adults alike would collect these plush toys, hoping to snag a rare edition that would skyrocket in value. Everyone had their favorite Beanie Baby, whether it was the beloved Princess Diana Bear or the elusive Valentino the Bear. People would wait in long lines for new releases, hoping to make their fortune. While the market for Beanie Babies eventually crashed, the memories of their fleeting moment of popularity remained vivid for anyone who collected them. 9. Watching MTV when it was all about music videos.
MTV, that's when they used to play music videos. They don't play them like they used to. They used to be every day, all day long.
MTV in the 90s was the ultimate channel for music lovers. It wasn't just about reality shows or celebrity gossip. It was all about music videos. The channel played a pivotal role in shaping pop culture during the 90s, giving rise to iconic music videos by artists like Nirvana, Britney Spears, and Tupac. Whether it was Total Request Live, TRL, Yo MTV Raps, or Headbangers Ball, MTV's shows dominated after-school hours and weekend mornings. Watching music videos on MTV became a ritual for fans who wanted to stay on top of the latest trends, and the channel helped make stars of some of the biggest artists of the decade. 10. Jamming out to NSYNC or Spice Girls and knowing every lyric. And the late 90s were ruled by two of the biggest pop acts of all time, NSYNC and the Spice Girls. These groups dominated the airwaves and were the soundtrack of many 90s kids' lives. NSYNC's Bye 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 and the Spice Girls' Wanna Be were anthems that got everyone up and dancing. Whether you had your favorite Spice Girl or were a dedicated asterisk NSYNC fan, every lyric was burned into your brain. Memorizing the moves to their dances, collecting posters, and attending their concerts were rites of passage for 90s teens. These pop groups defined an era of teen culture, and their music is still as iconic today as it was then. 11. Pogs and Slammers dominating the playground. Pogs were the ultimate playground craze in the 90s.
Don't get me wrong,
These small, colorful cardboard discs, often featuring cool designs and characters, were collected, traded, and played with in intense, highly competitive game. The game itself was simple. You stacked your pogs and used a heavier disc called a slammer to flip them over. The pogs you flipped became yours, and the competition to win the rarest or most coveted pogs made the game even more exciting. Whether it was at recess, in the lunch room, and every kid had a collection they swore would make them rich one day.
Yeah, Rugrats are good too.
And knowing
Why settle for
Freaking
good
commercials,
when
man.
you can go grand at MGM Grand Detroit, featuring savory cuisine from
Pushing over and continuing in.
Kool-Aid, the sweet, colorful drink that could be made in a variety of flavors, was a staple in every 90s home. The iconic little plastic cups were the perfect vessels for
Yes,
sipping
they
the
were.
sugary drink at summer barbecues, after school, or during family parties. Kids would love filling those cups with ice-cold Kool-Aid, and the flavors, ranging from tropical punch to grape, never failed to hit the spot. It was a treat that epitomized the carefreeness of childhood, and for many, it's a drink that takes them right back to the 90s, reliving those moments of joy with friends and family. 13. Playing Mortal Kombat and
baby.
yelling "Finish him." Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
was one of the most iconic video games to come out of the 90s. It introduced brutal, over-the-top combat with unforgettable characters like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Liu Kang. The game's fatality
Kang was
moves,
the
where you could
favorite
finish off
character
your
I
opponent
played
in the
with.
most gruesome, exaggerated
He
ways,
had the best
became
moves,
legendary.
too.
The phrase "finish him" became a part of pop culture, signaling the
Finish
final
him.
move in every match. Whether you were playing in arcades or on your home console, the adrenaline rush of mastering the game and executing a perfect fatality was unmatched. Mortal Kombat was a gaming experience that stood out for its shock value and excitement. 14. Passing notes folded into intricate shapes in class. Before texting and instant messaging, passing notes was the secret form of communication between classmates.
Yep, there were no
The
text
art of folding a
messaging.
note into intricate,
No
often
instant
origami-like
message.
shapes was a skill perfected by 90s kids. Whether it was a simple "Do you like me?" check yes or no
Yeah,
note,
I
or
was gonna
something
say
more
check
complex.
yes or
The
check
thrill
no.
of passing a note under a desk or to the person in the row behind you was unmatched. These notes weren't just about passing information. They were a symbol of friendship, gossip, or secret crushes.
We used to use the brown paper bags
the message itself,
and put
and
them
it was part of the
backwards
classroom
and
culture.
wrap our
that
books in them
defined
for
90s
each
school
subject, and we'd wrap our
15.
own books.
Stretch
and we would
Armstrong
design
toys
stuff
that
on
could
our own book
survive
covers.
anything. Stretch Armstrong was the toy of resilience in the 90s. This muscular shawl, and more. The toy was filled with a gooey substance that made it incredibly flexible, and it was marketed as nearly indestructible. For many, Stretch Armstrong represented the power of imagination and the joy of having a toy that could withstand whatever creative game you wanted to play. 16. Cranking out mixtapes for your crush on cassette tapes. Mixtapes were the ultimate way to express feelings in the 90s, especially for those too shy to say it outright. Using cassette tapes, kids and teens would craft the perfect collection of songs to tell a story or express their emotions, often dedicating each song to a specific moment or feeling, whether it was for a crush, a breakup, or just a fun compilation of favorite jams. The act of creating a mixtape was as much about the thought and effort behind it as it was about the music. Cranking the tape player, carefully selecting each track, and hoping your crush would love it too made mixtapes an essential part of 90s romance. 17. Watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and wishing you lived in Bel-Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a defining show of the 90s, offering a perfect blend of comedy and heartfelt moments. Will Smith's breakout role as the street-smart kid from West Philadelphia who moved to live with his wealthy relatives in Bel-Air captured the essence of both humor and aspiration. The colorful fashion, the catchy theme song, and the unforgettable characters made the show a cultural touchstone. Many kids of the era wished they could trade their suburban or city life for the extravagant lifestyle of the Banks family in Bel-Air, making the show an idealized view of wealth and family dynamics. It became a symbol of what was cool and aspirational during the 90s. 18. Wearing JNCO jeans so baggy they could fit another person. JNCO jeans were the ultimate symbol of 90s fashion rebellion. Known for their ridiculously wide legs, some pairs of JNCOs had leg openings so wide they could fit an entire other person inside. The baggy pants were loved by skaters, rave kids, and anyone who wanted to make a bold fashion statement statement. The pants were often paired with oversized t-shirts, hoodies, and chunky shoes, creating a unique and distinct look that was synonymous with 90s street culture. While the style faded by the early 2000s, the sheer audacity and comfort of JNCO jeans still brings a nostalgic smile to anyone who wore them. 19. The thrill of opening a Lunchable snack pack. Lunchables revolutionized lunch for kids in the 90s, offering a quick, fun, and easy meal that was perfect for school or home. The little compartmented packs featured crackers, deli meats, cheese, and sometimes dessert, allowing kids to assemble their own mini sandwiches or snacks. The thrill of opening up a Lunchables pack wasn't just about eating. It was about the joy of creating your meal and having it neatly packed in one compact container. It was the ultimate in convenience food, and for kids, it felt like a treat every time they pulled out that box at lunchtime. 20. Collecting Goosebumps books with their creepy covers. Goosebumps, the famous horror book series by R.L. Stine, was a must-read for any 90s kid who loved a thrill. With titles like Night of the Living Dummy, The Haunted Mask, and Say Cheese and Die, the Goosebumps books kept kids on the edge of their seats with each twist and turn. Creepy covers featuring grotesque monsters, eerie shadows, and unsettling imagery became iconic in their own right, as each book promised a chilling adventure. Whether you were reading under the covers with a flashlight or swapping books with friends, Goosebumps was an essential part of 90s childhood. Before we dive further into the list, let me know in the comments which of these 90s memories takes you back. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos celebrating your favorite eras. Now, let's continue. 21. Using floppy disks to save precious files. Before cloud storage, USB drives, or even CDs, there were floppy disks. Those square, floppy, and often unreliable pieces of technology that held our precious files. Whether you were saving a school project, your favorite game, or important documents, the floppy disk was the primary way to store data in the 90s. The sound of the disk drive working as it read or saved files was familiar to every 90s kid who spent hours on their desktop computers. Though they seemed primitive today, floppy disks were a game changer at the time, and using them felt like an essential part of computer life back then. 22. Making your backpack scream 90s kid with Lisa Frank designs. If you grew up in the 90s, chances are you had something with a Lisa Frank design on it. Her colorful, wild, and whimsical designs of rainbows, unicorns, and dolphins were everywhere. On notebooks, pencil cases, and especially backpacks. These psychedelic, ultra-bright prints were more than just decoration. They became a defining style of 90s childhood. Carrying a Lisa Frank backpack to school was an unspoken way to declare that you were a true 90s kid. The fun, fantasy-filled designs made it feel like you were carrying a piece of your own colorful world everywhere you went. 23. Playing arcade games and hoarding tickets for cheap prizes. Arcades were the epicenter of 90s entertainment, filled with flashing lights, boisterous sounds, and the excitement of trying to beat high scores. Whether
me and my brother and my cousins would go down to this store where we lived. It's called a Rookie's Den, and you could shoot pool and play arcade games like that and all kinds of stuff. But that was the hangout spot for us.
Whether it was Street Fighter II, Pac-Man, or Dance Dance Revolution, the thrill of playing arcade games was unmatched. The real excitement came when you started hoarding tickets from your wins, all in hopes of exchanging them for cheap yet thrilling prizes. From neon-colored keychains to plastic toys, the rewards didn't matter as much as knowing you'd earned them through skill and persistence. 24. Hearing the X-Files theme and getting chills. The theme song of The X-Files became synonymous with spine-chilling moments and paranormal intrigue. Every time the eerie, haunting music played, you knew something strange was about to unfold. The show became a cultural phenomenon in the 90s, exploring conspiracies, aliens, and supernatural events. The theme song itself, with its eerie tones, became instantly recognizable to fans who couldn't wait to dive into the mystery each episode brought. Whether you were watching it alone at night or with friends, the eerie intro was enough to give anyone chills, and The X-Files will always be remembered for that sense of suspense. 25. MSN Messenger being your go-to chat platforms. Before texting apps and social media, MSN Messenger was the ultimate instant messaging platform for teens in the 90s and early 2000s. Connecting with friends and family was as simple as logging in, choosing a funny or cool username, and chatting away. The iconic ping sound when someone messaged you was a familiar soundtrack for countless conversations, whether it was chatting about homework, making plans, or just goofing off. The status feature, where you could announce your mood, or even the quirky emoticons, was a highlight. MSN Messenger was more than just a chat tool. It was a place where friendships blossomed, memes were born, and secrets were shared. 26. Trying not to scratch your brand new CD. The excitement of
Launched to the south.
You've been doing YouTube backwards, and honestly, most creators never figure this out. There are 3 mistakes that are killing your growth right now. And the crazy part, your content...
There we go. I hate commercials.
excitement of buying a new CD, carefully peeling off the plastic and placing it in your CD player was a moment that defined the 90s music experience. But the real challenge came when you had to protect that pristine, shiny surface from scratches. With the fear of losing your favorite tracks if the CD was scratched, everyone was incredibly careful when handling them. The struggle was real, especially when sharing a CD with friends or passing it around for a listen. The fear of fingerprints or dust damaging the disc led to many careful, meticulous cleaning sessions, all in the name of preserving your music. 27. Watching TRL on MTV to see who was hash one.
TRL was
Total
where it was
Request
at.
Live. TRL was the place to find out which music video ruled the charts. Hosted by Carson Daly, TRL became the go-to show for 90s kids to discover the hottest new music videos. Fans would call in or vote online to see their favorite music videos, and the countdown to the hash one spot was highly anticipated. Watching the top spot being revealed each day was like a daily ritual for many, and the show brought celebrities, bands, and fans together in a way that few others could. For anyone who grew up in the 90s, TRL was the pinnacle of music culture, shaping trends and making stars. 28. Dunkaroos as the king of school snacks. Dunkaroos were the snack that every kid wanted in their lunchbox. The perfect combination of cookies and frosting. Dunkaroos came with colorful, sweet frosting that you would dip the small cookies into, making for the ultimate after-school snack. The sheer joy of dunking the cookies and licking the frosting off your fingers was something no other snack could replicate. Whether you had the classic flavor or tried the different varieties, Dunkaroos were a lunchtime highlight, and even today, they remain a nostalgic treat for anyone who grew up with them. 29. Drinking Surge soda for the ultimate sugar rush. Surge was marketed as a high-energy soda for the kids who needed to get their caffeine fix, and boy, did it deliver. Released by Coca-Cola in the mid-90s, Surge was a citrus-flavored, high-caffeine soda that gave you an instant energy boost. Its bold, neon green color and intensely sweet flavor standout accessories from the movie was the bucket hat, worn by characters like Cher Horowitz, played by Alicia Silverstone, as part of her trendy, preppy wardrobe. The bucket hat was a casual, fun, and sometimes even ironic fashion statement that became a must-have accessory for many 90s teens. Whether you were hitting the mall or hanging out with friends, a bucket hat was the perfect way to express your style, channeling that clueless vibe wherever you went. 31. Decorating your Trapper Keeper with stickers. Trapper Keepers were the ultimate school accessory in the 90s, but what made them truly personal was the way you could decorate them with your favorite stickers. These Velcro sealed binders were perfect for holding your notebooks, but they became blank canvases for creative expression. Whether it was stickers of your favorite bands, cartoons, or those colorful holographic designs, every Trapper Keeper was a unique representation of the owner's personality. The excitement of picking out the perfect sticker to add, then peeling it off and carefully placing it on your Trapper Keeper was a ritual many 90s kids remember fondly. They weren't just for organization, they were a statement. 32. Ring pops making you feel fancy as a kid.
Welcome to the Ring Pop Party,
with so many awesome
The atomic
flavors.
bomb, the red hard
Ring
candy,
Pop they want. With
spicy,
Ring Pop, we can all
hot.
have
Ring Pops were the candy that made
spicy,
you
it was
feel like
hot.
royalty in the 90s. These colorful, oversized lollipops were worn like rings, and every kid who had one felt extra special, like they were sporting a piece of jewelry. The sugary, fruity flavors made them a sweet treat, but it was the novelty of wearing a ring and sucking on it that made them iconic. Whether you wore it on your pinky or your ring finger, the sheer fun of having a candy ring became an essential part of childhood in the 90s. No one could resist that flashy, fun, and totally indulgent experience. 33. Crossing Hot Wheels
Hot
tracks
Wheels.
through every room in the
hell
house.
yes.
Hot Wheels
Yeah.
cars were the racing toys of the 90s, but the real fun began when you built sprawling, intricate tracks that seemed to
Them
go
were
on
awesome.
forever,
I
using
loved them
loops,
tracks. We had
ramps,
a
and
whole bunch of them
intersections.
growing
Kids
up.
created tracks that snaked through every room of the house. The goal wasn't just
Literally
to get the
take up
cars
your
to
whole
race,
living
it was
room
about
floor.
building the coolest and most creative track possible. You'd spend hours designing and testing your Hot Wheels cars, making sure they could race through every loop without derailing. Whether it was an impromptu race with friends or perfecting your track solo, Hot Wheels tracks became a source of endless entertainment and imagination. 34. Using a rewinder to speed up VHS tape rewinding. Yeah, if you grew up in the 90s, you know the struggle of rewinding VHS tapes by hand. Whether you were finishing a movie or getting ready to return a rental, rewinding tapes was a time-consuming task. That's where the rewinder came in, a device specifically designed to quickly rewind your VHS tapes in half the time it took a regular VCR. It was a convenience, a little gadget that was a must-have in every household with a VCR. The satisfaction of hearing the tape rewind quickly was a small but memorable part of 35. Trading Pokemon cards like they were gold. Pokemon cards were more than just collectibles. They were currency.
Yep.
The 90s saw an explosion of kids trading these shiny, colorful cards in an effort to build the ultimate collection. Whether it was in the schoolyard, at the lunch table, or at organized trading events, you could find kids eagerly swapping cards. The rare holographic cards, especially Charizard and Blastoise, were considered treasures and often the subject of intense trades. The thrill of striking a deal, completing your set, and showing off your prized collection made Pokemon cards one of the most iconic aspects of 90s childhood. Even today, the value of certain cards still causes nostalgia for those who spent hours trading. 36. Reading Animorphs books with those mesmerizing covers. The Animorphs book series by K.A. Applegate was a huge phenomenon in the 90s, and part of what made them so unforgettable was the eye-catching, almost hypnotic cover art. The books, which told the stories of kids who could transform into animals, were a mix of sci-fi, action, and emotional storytelling. The series was unique in that it tackled darker themes of war and morality, but it was the transformation scenes and the covers featuring the characters mid-shift that grabbed the reader's attention. Every new Animorphs book release was an event, and collecting them was a rite of passage for any 90s kid who loved a thrilling read. 37. Putting gel in your hair for the perfect frosted tips.
God.
Frosted tips were the hairstyle of the late 90s, especially for those who wanted to rock that cool surfer look. Achieving this look involved applying gel or bleaching the tips of your hair to give it that signature frosty, spiky effect. Whether it was spiky it wasn't just about the tips. It was a whole attitude. Celebrities like Asterisk, NSYNC, and Backstreet Boys made this look even more popular, and many teens spent hours in front of mirrors perfecting their frosted tips, preparing for school dances, or just everyday outings. 38. Watching Titanic in theaters more than once. Titanic wasn't just a movie. It was an experience. Released in 1997, it became a...
You want to talk about the biggest movie ever? Right there. Titanic was, when they say box office blowout, that was an understatement.
Cultural phenomenon, and millions of 90s kids flocked to theaters to see it over and over again. From the epic love story between Jack and Rose to the unforgettable visuals of the ship sinking, Titanic was a cinematic masterpiece. People went multiple times to catch all the details, cry over the tragic ending, and, of course, sing along with Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah.
The excitement around the film, the iconic King of the World scenes, and the sheer scale of its impact on pop culture made it a key memory for anyone who grew up in the late 90s. 39. Nano Pets as the alternative to Tamagotchis. If you couldn't get enough of virtual pets but found Tamagotchis too demanding, Nano Pets were the perfect alternative. These
And then
mini
if you didn't
handheld
take care of them,
devices
they would
offered a similar
pay a
experience with
high
simple
bill.
digital pets that needed feeding, playing, and care. The Nano Pets weren't as intense as Tamagotchis, but they still provided the satisfaction of nurturing a virtual creature. Their compact size made them easy to carry around, and the low maintenance aspect appealed to those who wanted a taste of virtual pet ownership without all the stress. These devices offered a simpler, yet still engaging, pet care experience for those who wanted to hop on the digital pet craze. 40. Goosebumps. Choose Your Own Adventure
We already
books.
said that.
The Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine was already a fan favorite for its creepy, thrilling stories, but the Choose Your Own Adventure books added an
Didn't they
extra
play that
layer of
before already?
excitement. These special editions allowed readers to make choices that impacted the storyline, creating multiple endings based on the decisions you made. The idea of being able to control the direction of the story made each book a unique experience. Whether you were trying to escape a haunted house or outsmart a monster, these interactive books were the perfect way to get immersed in the Goosebumps universe while keeping readers on their seats. 41. Typing Messenger was the digital lifeline for teens in the 90s, and it's impossible to think back on those days without remembering the shorthand lingo that ruled our chats. Typing BRB, be right back, emoticons like 90’s or P was part of our daily communication too. For anyone who spent hours chatting away on MSN, those moments of feeling connected to friends, no matter where they were, shaped the early digital age and gave us a sense of freedom that would later define online communication. 42. Hearing Crossfire from the dramatic TV commercial. Crossfire was one of those TV ads that you just couldn't escape in the 90s.
yeah.
The fast-paced commercial for the Crossfire game, featuring intense voiceovers and dramatic music, hyped the competitive tabletop game to kids everywhere. With its futuristic, action-packed vibe, the ad showed kids battling each other, trying to score points by shooting marbles into a goal. The catchy Crossfire jingle and the over-the-top excitement made the commercial a permanent fixture of childhood memories. Even if you didn't play the game, hearing that chant instantly brought back memories of Saturday mornings, ready to take on your friends in the ultimate challenge. 43. Getting hyped for the latest PlayStation demo disc. The 90s were a magical time for gaming, and one of the most exciting moments for any PlayStation owner was receiving a demo disc. These little CDs were packed with previews of upcoming games, giving players a taste of the latest and greatest titles. Whether it was for Final Fantasy VII, Gran Turismo, or the early Crash Bandicoot games, those demo discs were a sneak peek into the world of gaming that you couldn't get enough of. The thrill of popping in a demo disc, exploring new games, and getting hyped for what was coming next made each PlayStation demo an eagerly anticipated event. 44. Watching the Burger King Kids Club commercials. The Burger King Kids Club commercials were a memorable part of 90s advertising aimed at creating a fun, playful image for the brand. The group of diverse, quirky kids, each with their own personality and signature color, would be featured in catchy, upbeat ads, often promoting the latest kids' meal toy or special. With their bright, colorful outfits and fun-loving antics, the Kids Club crew made you want to join their group. These commercials were impossible to ignore and became a nostalgic part of the 90s fast food experience, especially for kids who couldn't wait to get their hands on the latest toy. 45. Collecting Looney Tunes merch dressed like rappers. In the 90s, Looney Tunes characters were everywhere, and a lot of kids jumped on the trend of rocking Looney Tunes merch with a twist, dressing them like rappers. T-shirts, hoodies, and hats with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Tweety Bird dressed in oversized clothes, gold chains, and flashy accessories became a part of the hip-hop inspired fashion wave. Looney Tunes, which had been a childhood staple for decades, was given a cool makeover to match the rise of 90s streetwear and rap culture. For many, this fusion of childhood nostalgia and street fashion was the ultimate expression of the era's vibrant pop culture. 46. Struggling with your Discman skipping tracks.
Listen, paying $14.99 a month for a streaming app, and $9.99 a month for a music app, and $12.99 for a fitness app.
iPods and MP3 players, the Discman was the king of portable music in the 90s. However, it wasn't perfect. Despite its compact size and convenience, the Discman was notorious for skipping tracks. Whether you were walking, running, or even sitting down, a sudden jolt could send your music skipping uncontrollably. The worst moments came when you'd painstakingly hit play on your favorite album, only to hear the skipping sound that ruined your listening experience. But despite this frustration, the Discman still represented a leap forward in portable music, giving everyone the chance to carry their favorite albums with them everywhere they went. 47. Crystal Pepsi confusing someone scratching their heads. Introduced in 1992, it promised to be a clear version of the classic Pepsi. Essentially, it was a colorless soda, but with the same flavor as regular Pepsi. The commercial slogan, "You've never seen a taste like this," was followed by confusion from soda drinkers everywhere. The bright, transparent drink was supposed to give the illusion of purity, but it ultimately left people questioning whether something so clear could still have the rich taste of Pepsi. Crystal Pepsi's brief run in the 90s ended, but the intrigue surrounding this fizzy, mysterious drink lives on, especially with its occasional nostalgic returns to shelves. 48. Playing Sega, Genesis, or Super Nintendo for hours. The 90s were the golden era of video gaming, and consoles like the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo were at the forefront of it all. Playing Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega or Super Mario World on the SNES became the weekend ritual for many kids. The pixelated graphics, catchy soundtracks, and immersive gameplay defined the gaming experience for 90s kids. Whether you were racing through levels, solving puzzles, or battling enemies, these consoles offered hours of entertainment. Games like Street Fighter II and The Legend of Zelda were more than just games. They were portals to fantastical worlds that kept you glued to the screen for hours. 49. Posters of Titanic or NSYNC covering your bedroom walls. In the 90s, it was common to decorate your bedroom with posters of your favorite movies, music groups, or celebrities. For many teens, Titanic posters with the famous image of Jack and Rose, or asterisk NSYNC posters featuring Justin Timberlake, JC These posters served as a way to express your personality and showcase your current obsessions. Whether you were swooning over Leonardo DiCaprio or memorizing the lyrics to every asterisk NSYNC song, those posters were a window into the pop culture world that dominated the 90s. 50. Discovering Goosebumps TV episodes late at night. Goosebumps was a staple of 90s kids' TV programming, especially when the show adapted R.L. Stein's live the tension, thrill, and chill of the books, but with the added fear factor of seeing those creepy stories come.
Does anybody who grew up in the 90s remember what's it? Tales from the Crypt? I used to love that show. We'd watch it every weekend or every week. It was on.
To life. Whether you were watching The Chilling Night of the Living Dummy or the unsettling The Haunted Mask, the eerie atmosphere and unexpected twists left viewers glued to their screens. The series was perfectly paired with a late night snack, providing that perfect mix of fear and fun for any kid brave enough to face the monsters of the 90s. That was a whirlwind. These iconic 90s moments did you love the most? Or is there something we missed that you remember vividly? Drop a comment and let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more trips back in time to revisit the best moments of your childhood. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. 20 forgotten cartoons from the 1990s. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden gems of the 90s animation era that deserve a second look. From eco-warrior superheroes to bizarre internet parodies, these shows were bold, creative, and often ahead of their time. Stick around. Your favorite forgotten cartoon might just make the list, and the nostalgia will hit you hard. Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Captain Planet, baby.
The power is yours.
Earth, fire, wind, water, heart. Do these words take you back? Yep. Captain Planet and the Planeteers was more than a cartoon. It was a movement. At a time when environmental concerns were just starting to gain global attention, this show rallied a generation to think about saving the planet. The premise was bold.
Faithfully,
5
every
teenagers from
single
around the
day.
world, each wielding a magical ring representing an element, united to summon Captain Planet, a blue-skinned eco-hero with a green mullet. Together they battled villains like Loot and Plunder and Hoggish Greedly, whose schemes to destroy the environment felt larger than life. But here's the twist. The real message wasn't about Captain Planet saving the day. It was about teamwork and personal responsibility. The show constantly reminded viewers, the power is yours. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a call to action. Why did this cartoon fade into obscurity despite its massive cultural impact? Perhaps its earnest message became overshadowed by flashier, less preachy shows. Or maybe its unique blend of education and action wasn't enough to keep up with shifting trends in the mid-90s. Still, Captain Planet was iconic. Featuring celebrity voice actors like Whoopi Goldberg and LeVar Burton, the show had star power. And let's not forget the unforgettable theme song, a rallying cry for kids everywhere to care about the world they lived in. Do you remember shouting, "Go Planet," with your friends? Or were you on the other side, rooting for the eco-villains to win just once? Street Sharks. Sharks on wheels, biting through metal, wearing jeans. The 1990s gave us Street Sharks, one of the wildest, most over-the-top cartoons of the decade. If you were into action, attitude, and extreme catchphrases, this was your jam. The story followed 4 brothers who were transformed into half-shark mutants after a science experiment gone wrong. Each shark had a unique personality and power. There was Ripster, the leader, Jab, the boxing champ, Streaks, the adrenaline junkie, and Big Slamu, the muscle. Together they fought crime and battled their nemesis. Sharks Unforgettable was its sheer absurdity. They the show embraced the 90s ethos of being bigger, louder, and cooler. And let's talk about the toys. Street Sharks action figures were everywhere, with chomping jaws. But here's the irony. Street Sharks was often dismissed as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ripoff. While it shared a similar premise, it had its own brand of humor and edge that set it apart. The question remains, were the Street Sharks ahead of their time or simply a product of extreme 90s culture? Mighty Max. Not every cartoon hero was a buff, muscle-bound warrior. Sometimes he was a regular kid with a magical cap. Mighty Max told the story of a boy who could travel through time and space using a hat, and somehow it worked. Mighty Max followed the adventures of Max, a sarcastic, wisecracking teenager who discovered he was the cap bearer, destined to stop an ancient evil named Skullmaster. With his loyal allies, Virgil, a wise chicken-like creature, and Norman, a Viking warrior, Max traveled across dimensions, facing monsters, myths, and mayhem. What set Mighty Max apart was its tone. It wasn't afraid to be dark. Unlike many cartoons of the era, Mighty Max tackled heavy themes like sacrifice and destiny. The stakes always felt real. Characters faced life or death scenarios, and not everyone made it out alive. Then there were the playsets. Mighty Max wasn't just a show, it was a toy empire. The small foldable play sets turned into miniature worlds filled with traps, creatures, and secrets. The toys were as inventive as the show itself, turning every fan into an adventurer. Despite its innovation, Mighty Max struggled to compete with flashier shows, and its darker storylines may have alienated younger audiences. But for those who loved it, Mighty Max was unforgettable. Do you remember the thrill of following Max through portals, or were you just in it for the playset? The Bots Master.
There's a lot of good cartoons.
Bots Master. Game over.
What if robots weren't just machines? They were your best friends.
Mighty
The
Morphin
Bots Master
Power
was a
Rangers was
futuristic
another good
adventure
one.
that
I'm gonna
combined
show that
humor,
one.
action, and tech-savvy storytelling into one unforgettable package. The show
For
followed
boys anyways.
ZZ
I like that.
Zoolander, a teenage inventor who created intelligent robots called 3A Bots. Together with his robotic crew, ZZ fought against the Evil Corp, a mega corporation seeking to control the world. Each bot had a unique skill. Jam would DJ while fighting, the nerd was the tech genius, and Cook had, well, culinary-based weapons. The Bots Master Boxmaster stood out for its clever writing and humor. The banter between ZZ and his bots felt natural, and their teamwork made every episode fun to watch. The villains, led by Dr. Hiss, were comically evil, adding a lighthearted touch to the high-stakes battles. A unique feature of the show was its use of 3D effects. Special Zeev glasses came with Botsmaster toys, allowing viewers to see certain action scenes pop off the screen. It was an ambitious gimmick for its time, and while it wasn't perfect, it added a futuristic flair that fit the show's vibe. Though it faded quickly, the Botsmaster remains a hidden gem of 90s animation. Did you ever rock those Ziv glasses, or were you too busy laughing at the bot's antics to notice the 3D effects? Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
A world where only the strong survive. A world of dinosaurs.
I'm gonna stop it here.
If you have tried multiple oral antidepressants and they haven't worked, did you know that after 2, you can try another path?